All right, everyone, the Supreme Court sided with Ohio narrowly, a 5-4 decision with Gorsuch, of course, tipping the balance. It was funny because these people were like, no, it was Garland's turn. Ohio would have been saved if only evil, meanie Gorsuch hadn't replaced Scalia. And it's like, yeah, okay, you want to replace right-wing justice with someone who's center-left. Yeah, obviously the Republicans wanted to do the opposite. They will once Ginsburg kicks off in the next couple of years, almost certainly, and then they'll be totally fucking enraged. Here's the thing. What SCOTUS said is that Ohio has the right to purge voter rolls of people if you haven't re-registered in a significant length of time, like you haven't participated in several elections in a row, then they will query you. They'll say, you need to confirm that you're still alive, basically. Otherwise, what you'll get is a situation where you have the possibility of voter fraud. Now, in a state that's highly partisan, say California, maybe a Texas or something, somewhere where 1 million votes or more separates the winner from the loser, it's pretty clear-cut what direction it leans in on a partisan scale, this sort of thing isn't quite as important. Because in such a situation, you would need an overwhelming number of voter fraud cases in order to tip the balance one way or the other, at least as far as the federal elections go. If you're talking about maybe a gubernatorial race or something, it could be a little bit different. But in a state like Ohio, which for a long time has been a bellwether of the entire country, where the total vote in one direction or another could come down to less than 1% in some cases. Like in 2012, I think it was a razor-thin margin. Wasn't it like less than 2%? Not many votes separating the winner and the loser in that case. And I think, didn't Romney manage to pick it up? And I think Ohio was one of the states he wanted to win but lost. I think it went narrowly Obama, if I remember correctly. In such a case, yes, you could, in theory, have enough voter fraud cases of dead people or pets or whatever voting that it becomes a problem. By forcing someone who may be dead to, respond and say, yeah, I'm still alive, I'm here, I've ticked the box, I'm still alive, therefore re-registering, you go down and show your ID to sign up to vote, that's not really inconveniencing anybody. Because if they are indeed alive and eligible to vote, it shouldn't be a problem now, should it? Asking people to show a form of ID to confirm that they're still alive is not particularly onerous. This is now a binding. The Supreme Court has decided it. People can't assume that it's just partisan either. So I could get a couple center-right justices joining, the likes of a Gorsuch, and agreeing with them. And of course, people who are on the left, they don't like the idea. The basic idea of the left has been that voter fraud is scarce. But in a swing state, therefore, it can still matter. Not in a highly partisan state, California, it's probably going to go blue by several million votes. You're going to need a lot of voter fraud on the behalf of Republicans in order to swing that in the other direction. You get a Texas where, 500,000 extra people voted for the Republican candidate. You're probably not going to be able to scrape together enough voter fraud cases to tip that balance. But Ohio? Ohio you could. Or think of other swing states, maybe in Iowa. At this point, parts of the Rust Belt, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Pacific Northwest, maybe an Arizona or New Mexico, Virginia, certainly, and North Carolina. These competitive areas of the country are the ones that would be targeted anyway. If there was a concerted effort to commit voter fraud, it would probably be in a swing state. It would probably be in an area that was, up for grabs. As in, it wouldn't look conspicuous if all of a sudden you had a 10-point shift in the voting totals. Compared to the polling. Because obviously, voter fraud is not going to carry over to the polls. If there was a discrepancy like that, in one direction or the other, and there were more than a few scattered cases of fraud that they did detect, yeah, that'd be a major scandal. It'd be a major crisis now, wouldn't it? Voter fraud is fairly rare in this country. Some people who are on the right, they're like, well, the left doesn't want you to show ID to vote because they want to rig the vote. And they thought this was going to happen to Trump. They're like, well, Hillary's just going to rig it. Look at the Project Veritas releases on I believe it was Wisconsin, and he wins Wisconsin, handily. Oh, but they're committing, people are being bussed in from Chicago. Okay, well, maybe so. Yeah, there could be some fraud going on. Obviously not enough now, was it? You got to stop worrying about it, but it is reasonable. Generally speaking, it is reasonable to submit that a person should have to, if they haven't participated repeatedly in any elections, so they haven't appeared as having voted for, what is it? I think it's for at least 2 cycles. It is reasonable to assume that they should re-register because the person may be dead. They may have been deceased. Well, if their name's still on the voter rolls, what if someone decides to show up at a different polling place? Oh yeah, I'm so and so. The name of their dead relative, and I want to vote. It's not common, but it could tip the balance in a swing, or a close election in general, anywhere within the country. You would think of, again, sometimes, like here in the state of Vermont, we've got a Republican governor, despite the state being far blue. But it was a relatively close race, when you really think about it. In California, the results between Cox and I think, isn't Jerry Brown running for re-election or whatever? Who fucking cares at this point? It's probably going to be closer than the election in the federal sense. It's probably going to be closer. At least it's two Californians going head-to-head, so things tend to even out a little bit. Hyper-partisan states can actually have largely moderate results, very surprisingly moderate results when it comes to their state elections. Yes, purging the voting rolls of people who are not eligible to vote for one reason or another, usually related to being deceased, is important. Look, we go through... For Social Security, some people commit Social Security fraud and keep collecting checks for a dead relative. That's been noted as a problem by people on the left and on the right. What's the difference? Someone's dead, but their name still appears as eligible for some sort of action, political or fiscal. That's a problem. It doesn't matter if it's only, a few hundred, a few thousand cases. You can feasibly get an election that's that close. We saw results like, look at the Wisconsin race, the Virginia race, anything in 2016. Look at how close the results were in some of these places. Look at Michigan. What was it? The final result, wasn't it like, a few tens of thousands of votes? Yes, you can get that many cases of fraud feasibly, if there's a concerted effort. And the Supreme Court agrees. Now, it's not a major problem within the country. I agree with the left on this, but it is reasonable to try to prevent it just in case. It's one of those just-in-case things. It's like, is it really inconveniencing anybody to say, hey, we're sending a piece of paper off if you haven't participated repeatedly to make sure that you're still able to vote? Is that unreasonable? No, it's absolutely not. That's about all. Peace out.